Welcome to this explainer. Look, if your budget feels stretched to the absolute limit right now, you're definitely not alone. But more importantly, you've got options. Today, we're taking you from a state of scarcity survival to strategic asset management. We're going to start treating every single dollar as a strategic asset. Time to shift from defense to offense, right?
So, Vanguard's financial research poses this really fascinating question. When does $2,000 feel just as powerful as $1,000,000? Think about it for a second. If you're lost in the desert fighting heat and thirst, 1,000,000 gallons of water back home does you literally zero good. What you need is a single canteen, right then and there. Well, financial emergencies are exactly the same.
To figure this out, we're going to build a highly resilient financial blueprint layer by layer. We'll cover the blueprint, modern tools, the momentum fund, strategic capital, and finally, institutional wealth.
Okay, Section 1, the blueprint. Let's talk zero-based budgeting.
This concept actually started in the corporate world back in the 60s, but it is absolutely ideal for tight budgets. It's a massive step up from traditional models like the 50-30-20 rule. You know the one, spend 50% on needs, 30 on wants, and 20 on savings. But look, if you're in a tight spot, basic essentials like housing and food, they're easily eating up 70 or 80% of your income. That's where zero-based budgeting steps in as a real game changer. You dictate exactly what's going to be spent before the month even begins. You're assigning every single dollar a specific job, whether that's paying rent, buying groceries, or just sitting in savings. So your income minus expenses equals exactly zero. There is absolutely no unplanned free cash floating around.
Now, to actually enforce this blueprint, we bring in the cash envelope system. This introduces what we call intentional friction. It provides a hard physical stop to your spending that just swiping a piece of plastic simply cannot replicate. By putting physical cash into envelopes labeled for specific categories, you create this visual, real-time feedback loop. If your grocery envelope is completely empty on the 20th of the month, well, you're forced to make a conscious, honestly kind of painful decision. You either stop spending, or you have to steal from another envelope, like entertainment. And let's be real, nobody wants to steal from their own fun. It's an incredibly powerful psychological deterrent against those tiny spending leaks that totally drain a tight budget.
Moving on to Section 2, modern tools. Let's look at tech for tight budgets.
If dealing with physical cash isn't your vibe, don't worry. Apps like Good Budget or Opportune can do the heavy lifting for you. Good Budget brings that classic envelope method straight to your phone. Then there's Opportune. You might remember them as Digit, which analyzes your spending habits and uses algorithms to transfer small, safe amounts, maybe just $5 or $20, into savings every few days. We've also got tools like Chime for automatic transfers, Acorns for rounding up your spare change into investments, and even specialized apps like Benny that capitalize on things like Snap Cashback. You're basically putting your financial discipline on autopilot, which is brilliant.
All right, Section 3, the momentum fund, building a buffer for shocks.
Look, forget that daunting 6-month savings goal for now. Seriously, just put it out of your mind. Establishing a realistic starter buffer of just $500 to $1,000 protects against the most common financial spending shocks. When money is tight, hearing that you need 10 grand saved up can literally cause you to freeze up. Experts emphasize momentum over perfection here. Just $500 can cover minor car repairs, a surprise medical copay, or a busted water heater without forcing you into high-interest debt.
And this brilliantly brings us back to our opening question. Vanguard found that a small, accessible cushion drastically reduces the cognitive load of scarcity. It literally cuts your weekly financial worry time in half. People with zero savings, they spend about 7.3 hours a week just stressing over money. But those with just a $2,000 cushion, only 3.6 hours. So that canteen in the desert isn't just saving your finances, it's saving your mental health and freeing up your energy to make way better long-term decisions.
Okay, Section 4, strategic capital. Let's talk about maximizing windfalls.
Once we've got a buffer established, our next strategic layer is injecting some serious capital into your safety net. For many households, the Earned Income Tax Credit, the EITC, and standard IRS tax refunds act as a massive once-a-year capital infusion. This can fund your entire emergency reserve so much faster than trying to scrape together incremental paycheck savings. I mean, the average tax refund is over $3,000. Trying to save that by setting aside $75 a month would take years, right? By capturing this windfall, you jumpstart your financial resilience overnight.
So here's a super simple step-by-step process for what we call a refund with a purpose. This routes your IRS check directly into a high-yield account, totally removing the temptation to spend it. The trick here is you have to make this decision before you file your taxes, not after the money hits your checking account. By selecting direct deposit and intentionally routing it to a completely separate emergency savings account, the money bypasses your everyday spending view entirely. It just sits there, quietly earning compound interest, ready to catch you when you fall.
Finally, Section 5, Institutional Wealth, Unlocking IDAs and ABLE accounts. So what's really interesting here is the concept of an IDA, or Individual Development Account. It's this powerful federal and nonprofit tool that essentially provides free grant money to multiply your savings for major life assets. Conceived back in the 90s, IDAs actually reward your savings discipline. You deposit money you've earned from your job, and a sponsoring organization matches it. Sometimes it's a straightforward one-to-one match, but get this, some programs will match up to $8 for every single dollar you save. Unbelievable, right?
Just consider the incredible return on investment these programs offer. For every dollar you save from earned income, they can multiply your wealth rapidly, all while providing mandatory financial education. If you're saving for a home, an IDA can provide the down payment and closing costs through those incredible match rates. They can fund higher education to help you dodge those nasty high-interest student loans, or even provide initial capital for a small business. Plus, you take financial literacy courses as part of the program, making sure you actually have the knowledge to maintain the asset once you get it.
Now let's look at how this works for individuals with disabilities using ABLE accounts. These act as a vital legal haven for savings, so you don't lose federal benefits due to strict asset limits. Traditionally, saving money could literally disqualify someone from critical support like Medicaid or supplemental security income. But with an ABLE account, the funds grow tax-free, and you can hold up to $100,000 that is completely disregarded as a resource by SSI. It's a total game changer for disability financial planning.
The big takeaway here? Through consistent strategic actions, you're no longer just surviving, you're actively commanding your finances. It isn't about having a huge income, it's about the discipline of the small and consistent. Whether it's a $10 weekly transfer, routing your tax refund properly, scoring an IDA match, or freeing up cash by utilizing utility subsidies like LEHAP and WAP to lower your bills, you are taking control of your economic reality.
Which leaves us with one final, truly empowering question to consider today. Now that you have the architectural blueprint, what specific job are you going to assign to your very next dollar? Remember, every single cent is a strategic asset just waiting for your command. Thank you for joining me for this explainer, and I highly encourage you to look into these tools and start building your financial momentum right now.